So basically, I'm a real estate investor, buy, sell, and hold property. This is my 40th year of doing that. Bought my first house when I was 18 years old, and it's the first house I ever lived in. It was a blessing. I've discovered something very amazing and incredible in that at 18 years old, I could actually buy a property, and that I didn't have to go to the bank and I didn't have to qualify for a loan. So that was pretty amazing. And then what I found is that not only could I take over an existing loan, because back in the day they had a thing called Enq Loans, non-escalating, non-qualifying loans. And back in the day, for $45, you could take over someone else's loan. And it was in their name, on their credit report, that they paid the closing costs for, and you just stepped in and took over wherever they are in the 30-year financing. So if they were 15 years, you just took over the payments, and it was all good. Well, they changed that. Congress, in its infinite wisdom, right, comes in, and of course, congressmen being bought off, as we all know they are, right? They all are bought. Doesn't matter which side they're on, they're all bought. And it just matters who wrote the check, right, as to what happened. So they created a law called the Garn-St. Germain Federal Depository Institutions Act of 1982. And what that law did was actually give the banks the right to put the due upon sale clause in the mortgage. So what that did was give the banks the right to call that loan due if and when someone actually transferred the property to somebody else. Well, in reading the law, because I was...
Calling it due, can you tell them what that means?
That means due and payable. So in other words, if...
loan balance had to be paid off.
The whole balance of the loan. So if you owed $100,000, you borrowed $100,000 to purchase the home, and then you had paid down, say, to $90,000, and then somebody else comes in and takes over that loan, then that $90,000 would have to be paid off. Well, I didn't like that because I had bought my house, and so many people had bought their house by taking over an existing loan. So it was really cool. But what happened was I read the law. So in reading the law, I actually discovered there was an exemption. I believe 1701 DJ9D, way down in there, was an exemption, and it basically said when someone transfers their own property to trust for estate planning purposes, essentially the lender is prohibited, let me express that word again, prohibited from calling the loan due. So what I discovered is that I needed to learn a lot more about a thing called trusts, land trusts and personal property trusts, and the ability to help sellers plan their estate by transferring their property into trust. Then what I discovered is that the beneficial interest of a trust is not published anywhere. So that's actually a private matter, whoever the beneficiary of the trust is. So I thought that's a pretty amazing thing. And the fact that we can do it in all 50 states, and the fact that trusts actually came over on the Mayflower. So they were here long before LLCs, long before corporations, long before any of these other entities that are out there. And the ability to step in and literally help someone place their property into trust and then take over the beneficial interest in the trust gave me the opportunity to be able to buy a lot of real estate. Because you might know that banks have limitations on the amount of loans that you can actually have. So it's stepping in and trying to take over somebody else's financing, or actually creating your own by going to the bank and qualifying for loans. The bank limits the number of loans that you can actually do. So I said, oh, cool. So all I got to do is do this, and I can buy a lot more real estate. Well, sure enough, to this day, that's one of the things we do. So because I discovered that the seller can be the bank and not the bank be the bank, then as a result, I've never been to the bank and I've never qualified for a loan on a single family or small multifamily property, because I discovered that Number one, the seller could be the bank. If they had equity in the property, we could come in and take over their existing financing. Or number two, if they had existing financing, we could step in and take that over. So they could either be the bank, or I could step in and take over their financing. And then...
And you didn't even have to get any conventional financing to buy your properties.
That's right.
Am I hearing you right?
I've never been to the bank, and I've never qualified for a loan on any property. Yeah, baby. So that's one of the things that I teach. So basically, when you learn about real estate from me, it's not how to go to the bank and how to qualify for a loan. It's quite opposite, that the seller can actually be the bank. And then I teach and train you on how to find buyers before you even buy the real estate. So when you've got a list of buyers, and you've got a list of qualified buyers and pre-qualified buyers, then you're able to buy real estate because you have no issues. You have no risks. And so basically, I'm all about risk mitigation. Get rid of the risk. And so the way you get rid of the risk is actually to already have qualified buyers. So one of the things we do is we have a marketing machine that we turn on, and the customers come in, and then we pre-qualify them. So we do a credit analysis, and you start making money right then. So they pay for the credit analysis, and then we determine where they stand on the credit scale, and then we go ahead and place them into credit restoration. So you make money because of the credit analysis, and number two, you make money because of credit restoration, placing them into a program that actually restores their credit. So while they're in the credit restoration, you go about finding property for them that actually matches their situation, the amount of down payment they have, what their credit looks like right now, the whole 9 yards, and I teach you all of that. And as a result, you're able to make about 30% more on real estate than most real estate investors actually make. And so what happens is you're actually helping people to end up with ownership of a property. So regardless of their credit, regardless of their financial background, then you can help them and help them down life's road to end up with property. So we are all about helping people end up with ownership of property. So we've got a program called the Path to Homeownership. And we help people, regardless of their credit or financial background, to end up with ownership of a property. And so we've got a program that I teach and train on helping people, whether they're at the rent level, rent to own, owner finance, or cash sale, depending on the amount of down payment money they have. We place them into a program so they can end up with ownership of the property rather than just being a renter. And so we buy houses uniquely, and we sell them uniquely, and as a result, there's a nice profit in there for you. So that's kind of my gig. And 4 times a year I teach a class called Millionaire Jumpstart, and it's only $99, and it's 3 days, and it's usually down by the airport somewhere, so people fly in from all over the country, and I give them that training. And
$99, 3 days with you?
It's ridiculous, right? And not only that, they get this nifty manual too. But it's really to give you the overview of our message and our plan, and our goal is for entrepreneurs to end up being millionaires, and in fact multimillionaires. My wife Janice is here. She's wearing her Certified Affordable Housing Provider shirt, and she's been with me 35 years. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. She is truly awesome, amazing being on the planet, and she takes a big load off my shoulders. She handles our property management, so we have lots of people in the pipeline of the Path to Homeownership, and then she handles that. She has a team under her that facilitates that on a daily basis. So I'm kind of the one that looks at the deals to buy, and she's the one that's actually filling the properties and also helping us with the buying side as well, and she does a lot. So we teach you exactly what we're doing. So you basically can duplicate what we're doing, and it's an amazingly profitable business, and it's amazingly helpful business too, because you're helping people really change their lives and to end up with a better life than the one they've got. So we're all about, we call it doing good while doing well, and you can download my book free of charge. You can go to get doinggoodbook.com/Lou and download it free. It's on Amazon.com for $24.95, but you don't have to pay that. Just get doinggoodbook.com, and that gives you kind of like an insight into what people around the country are doing with what I'm sharing with you right here. And then you can go to find out more about the 3-day training. You can go to millionairejumpstart.com, millionairejumpstart.com, and it gives you more information about the whole 3-day training and what we're going to cover and cool stuff like that. Yes?
Yesterday, I have a neighbor, and he makes $250,000 a year. And I said, I don't care what you do. I said, you go on the website right now, and you look up this guy called Louis Brent, and you take everything he offers, Street Smart Secret, because it's invaluable. I met Louis, I don't know, it's probably
1992, I think.
Yeah.
1992. Yeah.
And the things that have happened in my world, if the knowledge that he puts out I hadn't actually put into place, I would not be, I would be bankrupt beyond anything imaginable. He has an unbelievable amount of information, and whatever he has, take it. It's worth it. And that's why I giggled, because it was like,
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can use his systems that
Best
he's
effort.
already gone through the trial and error and worked out a lot of kinks over a lot of decades.
I'm kind of an engineer brain, so.
Some of you who don't know this, he has a program that you can be literally a multimillionaire in 3 years. No
He also
fooling.
has programs that one of his weekend seminars, if you do it and apply it, could be better for your entire life than 4 years of a fake college education. Which I slept through mine. But I did not sleep through Lou's. And I learned.
That's right. He couldn't even sit down. He was pacing. He was pacing. He was like, oh my God, oh my God.
I believe that.